The massive space station Nexus Prime hung in the void like a glittering jewel. Its silver walls stretched for kilometers in every direction. Thousands of lights blinked along its surface as ships from across the galaxy docked at its many ports. This was the heart of galactic civilization. This was where the most important decisions in the universe were made. Commander Jinwoo Park stood at the viewing port of the human diplomatic vessel New Seoul. His dark eyes watched the enormous station grow larger as they approached. Behind him, Captain So-Jin Lee checked her uniform one final time. Today would change everything for humanity. Today they would ask to join the Galactic Council. "Are you ready for this?" So-Jin asked quietly. Jinwoo nodded slowly. "We have waited 300 years for this moment. Earth is ready to take its place among the stars." Their ship was small compared to the alien vessels around them. The New Seoul looked like a tiny metal fish swimming among whales. Alien ships with strange shapes and glowing engines moved past them. Some were long and sleek like silver needles. Others were round like floating cities. A few looked like living creatures with wings and tentacles. The docking process took an hour. Human technology was slower than most alien systems. Jinwoo and So-Jin walked through the airlock into Nexus Prime. The artificial gravity felt exactly like Earth normal. The air smelled clean and fresh. Everything was designed to make visitors from any world feel comfortable. A floating robot guided them through long corridors. The walls were covered with art from 1,000 different worlds. Strange music played softly in the background. Alien beings walked past them in small groups. Some had scales like reptiles. Others looked like walking crystals. A few seemed to be made of pure energy held in metal suits. "The council chamber is just ahead," the robot said in perfect Earth English. "Please prepare your presentation materials." Jinwoo carried a small datapad containing humanity's application. Everything Earth had accomplished was stored in that tiny device. Their first fusion reactors, their early space flights, their colonies on Mars and Europa, their faster-than-light drives that could barely reach the nearest star systems. The council chamber was enormous. The ceiling rose so high it disappeared into shadows. Seats arranged in a perfect circle could hold representatives from 200 different worlds. Today only 50 were occupied. The most important civilizations in the galaxy were here to judge humanity. "The humans may now present their application," announced the council speaker. The speaker was tall and thin with 4 arms and compound eyes like an insect. His voice echoed through hidden speakers around the chamber. Jinwoo walked to the center of the circle. Every alien eye focused on him. "Honored representatives," Jinwoo began. "I am Commander Jinwoo Park of the planet Earth. We come before you today to request membership in the Galactic Council. Humanity has developed faster than light travel. We have established colonies on 12 worlds. We wish to join the community of galactic civilization." He activated his datapad. Holographic images appeared in the air above his head. Pictures of Earth's blue oceans and green continents, images of human cities reaching toward the sky, videos of their spaceships traveling between the stars. The first laugh came from the Vector section. The reptilian aliens had scales that changed color when they were amused. Right now they were bright orange with laughter. Soon other sections joined in. The crystalline Zephyrions made sounds like wind chimes when they laughed. The gaseous nebula dwellers flickered with what might have been humor. "This is their fastest ship," one Vector representative hissed with amusement. The image showed Earth's newest destroyer traveling at maximum speed. "It would take them 50 years to cross our smallest territory." "Look at their weapons," called out a Zephyrian delegate. Her crystal body rang like a bell as she spoke. "They still use kinetic projectiles. Metal bullets fired by chemical explosives." "How wonderfully primitive." More laughter filled the chamber. Jinwoo felt his face grow hot with embarrassment, but he kept speaking. "Our fusion technology provides clean energy for all our worlds," he said. "We have eliminated poverty and hunger. On Earth, we have learned to live in peace among ourselves." "Fusion power," wheezed an Altarian ambassador. The blue-skinned humanoid wiped tears from her 6 eyes. We stopped using fusion reactors 5,000 years ago. They switched to zero-point energy collectors when we were still living in caves. The council speaker raised one of his 4 hands for quiet. The laughter slowly died down. Commander Jinwoo Park, the speaker said formally. The Galactic Council appreciates your species' enthusiasm. However, your technology is simply too primitive for membership at this time. Your ships are slow, your weapons are crude, your energy systems are outdated. Captain Sojin stepped forward to stand beside Jinwoo. Her face showed no emotion, but her hands were clenched into fists. We suggest you return to your homeworld and continue developing, the speaker continued. Perhaps in another 1,000 years you will have progressed enough to join galactic society. Until then, you should focus on reaching at least level 3 technology. What is level 3 technology? Sojin asked quietly. The question caused another wave of snickers around the chamber. Level 3 civilizations can manipulate space and time, explained the Altarian ambassador. They can create artificial dimensions. They can bend gravity to their will. Your species has barely achieved level 1 status. Warning alarms suddenly began blaring throughout the chamber. Red lights flashed along the walls. The council speaker's compound eyes widened with alarm. What is the emergency? He demanded. A technician rushed into the chamber carrying urgent reports. The floating robot from earlier projected new holographic displays in the center of the room. Star maps showed a massive fleet of ships moving toward a peaceful colony world. Krex the Destroyer has assembled his pirate armada, the technician announced. Over 200 ships are approaching the Kepler 442b colony. They will arrive in less than 6 hours. Panic spread through the chamber like wildfire. Representatives began talking rapidly in dozens of alien languages. The colony world had millions of innocent civilians. Men, women, and children who had never harmed anyone. Where are our defense fleets? The council speaker demanded. Scattered across the galaxy on patrol missions, replied the technician. The nearest council warships are 3 days away at maximum speed. The colony is defenseless, whispered the Altarian ambassador. Krex will destroy everything. He shows no mercy to civilians. Jinwoo cleared his throat. All eyes turned back to the human standing in the center of the chamber. The human vessel Bizon Guardian is currently in the Kepler system, he announced calmly. Captain Yu Jin Kim could attempt to evacuate some of the colonists. The aliens looked at each other with barely hidden amusement. How many could your primitive cargo ship carry? Asked the Vector delegate. Perhaps a few thousand, Jinwoo replied. Honestly, out of 15 million colonists, the Zephyrian representative chimed sadly. Still, we appreciate the gesture, though your ship will likely be destroyed the moment it encounters the pirates. The council speaker nodded gravely. We formally acknowledge humanity's offer of assistance, though we fear your primitive vessel cannot accomplish much against Krex's advanced warships. Captain Sojin exchanged a quick glance with Jinwoo. Something passed between them that the aliens could not understand. Some silent communication that spoke of secrets and hidden knowledge. We will do what we can, Sojin said simply. As the chamber erupted in discussions about the approaching disaster, Jinwoo activated his personal communicator. The message he sent was brief and encoded. But somewhere in the Kepler system, Captain, Yu Jin Kim received new orders. The galaxy was about to learn something new about humanity. The Galactic Council chamber had transformed into a storm of panic and confusion. Representatives from 50 different worlds shouted in their native languages, while emergency lights bathed everything in harsh red light. The massive holographic display in the center showed the approaching doom in terrifying detail. Krex, the destroyer's pirate armada, moved through space like a swarm of metal locusts. 200 warships of different shapes and sizes advanced toward the peaceful colony of Kepler 442b. Each ship bristled with stolen military weapons. Each vessel carried crews hungry for destruction and profit. The mathematics are impossible, declared the chief Altarian mathematician. Her blue fingers danced across floating calculation screens. Our fastest available ships need 72 hours to reach the colony. The pirates will arrive in less than 6 hours. Commander Jinwoo Park stood quietly in the chaos watching alien representatives argue among themselves. Captain Sojin Lee remained beside him with her arms crossed. Both humans appeared strangely calm while the galaxy's most advanced civilizations struggled with their helplessness. The Vector military advisor stood on his powerful legs and roared for attention. His scales had turned dark red with anger and frustration. "The Third Battle Fleet is defending the Outer Rim territories," he announced. "The Fifth Fleet is investigating energy anomalies near the galactic core. The Seventh Fleet is conducting training exercises in the neutral zone. Every major military force is committed elsewhere." "What about planetary defense forces?" asked a crystalline Zephyrian delegate. "Kepler 442b is a farming colony," replied the council speaker sadly. "They have no military installations, no weapon platforms, no shield generators. The colonists are completely peaceful. They never expected to need defenses in that quiet sector." The holographic display zoomed in on the colony world itself. Green and blue continents showed where 15 million humans had built their new home. Cities dotted the landscape like scattered jewels. Agricultural zones stretched across vast plains. Children played in parks while their parents worked in fields and factories. "The colony's orbital station has only basic sensors and communication equipment," reported a technician. "They cannot even detect the approaching fleet yet. They have no idea what is coming." More arguments erupted around the chamber. Some representatives suggested sending a warning message to the colony. Others debated whether evacuation ships could be diverted from nearby systems. A few alien leaders quietly calculated whether the loss of one human colony might be acceptable. If it satisfied Krex's hunger for destruction. Jinwoo stepped forward again. His voice cut through the noise with quiet authority. "As I mentioned before, the human vessel Bizon Guardian is already in the Kepler system," he said. "Captain Eugene Kim could begin immediate evacuation of essential personnel." The chamber fell. Silent, all alien eyes focused on the human commander once more. "Your cargo ship," said the Zephyrian representative slowly. "How exactly do you propose it could help?" "The Bizon Guardian has basic passenger facilities," Jinwoo explained. "We estimate it could carry approximately 4,000 evacuees per trip. If we work quickly, we might save 20 or 30,000. People." The aliens exchanged meaningful looks. Some tried to hide smiles behind their hands or claws or tentacles. "Commander Jinwoo," said the council speaker gently, "we appreciate your species' courage, but you must understand the reality of the situation. Your primitive cargo vessel would be destroyed the moment Krex's fleet detected it." "The pirates have military-grade weapons," added the Vector advisor. "Plasma cannons that can melt through a kilometer of solid metal, antimatter torpedoes that can crack moons. Your ship's basic hull would vaporize instantly. Even if your vessel could somehow survive the first attack," continued the Altarian ambassador, "Krex commands 200 warships. Your single cargo hauler would be hopelessly outnumbered." Captain Sojin spoke for the first time since the emergency began. Her voice was steady and controlled. "Our ship has basic defensive systems," she said simply. "We are willing to take the risk." This statement caused quiet laughter throughout the chamber. The sound was not cruel but rather sad, like adults watching a child volunteer to fight a dragon. "Your courage honors your species," the council speaker said diplomatically. "However, we cannot in good conscience send your people to certain death. Your primitive shields could not withstand even one hit from pirate weapons. Your engines are too slow to escape if the battle turns against you," pointed out a Nebula Dweller delegate. The gaseous being's voice sounded like wind through metal pipes. "Your weapons are too weak to damage pirate armor. Your sensors are too limited to track fast-moving enemies." More technical details filled the air as alien experts explained exactly why human technology was inadequate. Their fusion drives produced barely enough power for basic propulsion. Their kinetic weapons used simple metal projectiles. Their energy shields were primitive electromagnetic barriers. According to our tactical analysis, announced the Zephyrian military specialist, your cargo ship would survive approximately 37 seconds in combat against Krex's smallest frigate. That assumes the pirates bothered to aim carefully, added the Vector advisor with a toothy grin. Jinwoo listened to every criticism without changing expression. When the aliens finished explaining human inadequacies, he activated his personal communicator again. Captain Eugene Kim, he said clearly. This is Commander Jinwoo Park. You are authorized to proceed with Operation Guardian Shield. Static crackled from the small device. Then a calm voice responded across the vast distance of space. Message received, Commander. Operation Guardian Shield is now active. All systems are green, awaiting further orders. The alien representatives looked confused by this exchange. Operation Guardian Shield sounded far too military for a simple cargo ship mission. What exactly is Operation Guardian Shield? Asked the council speaker curiously. Standard evacuation protocol, Sojin answered without hesitation. Captain Eugene will position his ship near the colony and begin rescue operations. The mathematics remain impossible, protested the Altarian mathematician. Even if your vessel could make 20 successful trips without being detected or destroyed, you would save less than 1% of the population. Sometimes 1% is better than 0%, Jinwoo replied quietly. The chamber fell silent again. The simple truth of his words cut through all their advanced calculations and superior technology on the holographic display. Red markers showed Krex's fleet getting closer to the colony world. Time was running out. 15 million innocent people faced destruction while the galaxy's greatest civilizations could only watch helplessly. We formally acknowledge your offer of assistance, the council speaker announced officially. Though we fear your brave crew will only add to the casualty count. The Galactic Council will remember their sacrifice, added the Altarian ambassador. Solemnly. History will record that humanity tried to save lives when no one else could act, said the Vector. Representative with unexpected respect. As the emergency session continued with increasing desperation, another message crackled from Jinwoo's communicator. Captain Eugene's voice sounded different now, more focused, more dangerous. Commander Park, this is Captain Kim. I have visual contact with the colony world. Beginning final preparations for Guardian Shield deployment. All departments report. Ready status. The aliens barely paid attention to this routine communication. They were too busy calculating impossible rescue scenarios and debating whether to send warning messages to the doomed colony. None of them noticed the strange smile that flickered across Sojin's face. None of them understood what those simple code words really meant. Operation Guardian Shield was beginning, and the galaxy was about to receive an education. Captain Krex the Destroyer stood on the bridge of his flagship Blood Reaper like a king surveying his empire. The massive pirate was nearly 3 meters tall with thick armor plates covering his gray skin. Scars from 100 battles marked his face and arms. His 4 eyes glowed red in the dim light of the command center. Around him, the largest pirate fleet ever assembled moved through space toward their target. 200 ships of every shape and size formed a deadly armada. Some vessels were stolen military cruisers painted black and red. Others were converted merchant ships bristling with illegal weapons. A few were custom-built warships designed specifically for raiding and destruction. Status report, Krex growled in his deep voice. His first officer, a thin reptilian creature named Vex, checked the tactical displays with nervous excitement. All ships are maintaining formation, Captain. We will reach the colony world in 4 hours and 37 minutes. Long-range sensors show no defensive installations on the planet's surface, and the orbital station, basic communication equipment only. No weapons, no shields. No military vessels detected anywhere in the system. Krex's mouth twisted into a cruel smile that showed rows of sharp teeth. Kepler 442b would be his greatest prize. 15 million human colonists meant 15 million potential slaves. Their farms and factories would generate enormous profits. Their children would serve in his crews for decades to come. Sir, called out the sensor operator from his station. I am detecting a single vessel approaching our position. Show me, Krex ordered. The main view screen flickered and displayed a small ship moving slowly through space. It looked like a converted cargo hauler with basic modifications for passenger transport. The vessel was roughly box-shaped with simple engines and minimal external equipment. Laughter erupted throughout the Blood Reaper's bridge. Pirate crew members pointed at the screen while making jokes in a dozen different languages. Some bet on how quickly their weapons would destroy the pathetic little ship. Captain Vex said between chuckles. Sensors identify the vessel as human. Origin, basic fusion drive, primitive electromagnetic shields. No significant weapons detected. Humans, Krex spat with disgust. The galaxy's newest species. I heard they still use chemical explosives to launch metal bullets. More laughter filled the bridge. The pirates had stolen weapons from the most advanced military forces in the galaxy. They carried plasma cannons that could melt asteroids. They had antimatter torpedoes that could crack planets. They possessed energy shields that could deflect the fury of entire star systems. Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the human vessel, announced the communications officer. Put it on speakers, Krex commanded. I want to hear what these primitives have to say. Static crackled through the bridge speakers. Then a calm human voice spoke in clear galactic standard language. Unknown fleet. This is Captain Eugene Kim of the vessel Bizengardian. You are approaching a peaceful colony world. State your intentions and identify yourselves. The pirates roared with laughter. Several crew members fell out of their chairs from laughing so hard. The idea that this tiny cargo ship was challenging their mighty armada was beyond ridiculous. This is Captain Krex the Destroyer, the pirate leader announced with mock formality. I command 200 warships armed with the finest weapons stolen from across the galaxy. You command one pathetic cargo hauler that belongs in a scrapyard. I suggest you run away before I decide to use you for target practice. Captain Krex, Eugene's voice replied calmly, I cannot allow you to harm innocent civilians. Turn your fleet around and leave this system immediately. The laughter on the bridge became almost hysterical. Tears ran down Vex's scaled face. The weapons officer was gasping for air between laughs. Cannot allow, Krex repeated slowly. Did this primitive human just threaten me, sir? The tactical officer managed to say between giggles. Their ship shows no energy buildup in weapon systems. No targeting sensors locked onto our position. No evidence of any combat capability whatsoever. How long would our weakest frigate need to destroy them? Krex asked. Approximately 15 seconds, Captain. Less if we use antimatter torpedoes. And our main guns? One shot would vaporize them completely? They would not even have time to scream? Krex walked to the communications station. He wanted to savor this moment. Soon the galaxy would witness what happened to those who dared oppose the great Krex the Destroyer. Attention human cargo ship, he announced loudly. I am going to destroy you slowly. First I will disable your engines so you cannot run. Then I will breach your hull in multiple places so you lose atmosphere gradually. Finally, when your crew is dying from lack of oxygen, I will finish you with our main weapons. You will broadcast your destruction on all frequencies, he continued. Every human in that colony will watch their rescuer die helplessly in space. Then they will know that resistance is useless. Eugene's voice remained perfectly calm. Captain Krex, I am giving you one final warning. Leave this system now or face the consequences. Consequences, Krex bellowed. What consequences could you possibly threaten me with? You have one tiny ship with primitive weapons. I have 200 advanced warships with enough firepower to sterilize entire worlds. The consequences of attacking innocent people, Eugene replied simply. Krex had heard enough. He turned to his weapons officer. Target the human ship. Use light plasma cannons only. I want to disable them first and make this last as long as possible. Yes, Captain. Acquiring target lock now. On the tactical display, red crosshairs appeared over the small human vessel. The cargo ship continued its slow approach without taking any evasive action. It showed no signs of raising shields or charging weapons. Target locked, sir. Weapons ready to fire on your command? Krex settled into his command chair with a satisfied grunt. Soon the galaxy would remember why pirates feared his name. This foolish human captain would become an example to anyone who dared oppose him. But first, he wanted to enjoy the moment a little longer. Open a channel to all ships in the fleet, he ordered. I want everyone to witness this. Channel open. Captain, attention all vessels, Krex announced proudly. Today we will demonstrate what happens to those who challenge our power. Watch as we destroy this pathetic human cargo ship. Let this be a lesson to any who would stand against us. Throughout his massive fleet, pirate crews gathered around viewscreens to watch their captain destroy the lone human vessel. Some placed new bets on how long the destruction would take. Others prepared recording equipment to capture the moment. For later entertainment, on the bridge of the Blood Reaper, Krex raised his armored hand dramatically. Fire at will, he commanded. Brilliant beams of superheated plasma lanced out from his flagship toward the small human ship. The energy bolts could have melted through the armor of a battle cruiser. They struck the cargo vessel directly in the center, but something was wrong. The plasma beams simply disappeared when they touched the human ship. There was no explosion. No hull breach, no damage at all. The vessel continued moving forward as if nothing had happened. What? Krex roared in. Confusion. Sir, the weapons officer stammered. Our sensors show no impact. The energy beams seem to have been absorbed somehow. Impossible. Fire again. Full power this time. More plasma bolts struck the human ship. Again they vanished without effect. The small vessel's hull did not even glow from heat buildup. Captain Vex said nervously, "Perhaps their shields are more advanced than we thought." No shield in the galaxy can absorb plasma fire without showing some energy signature, Krex snarled. There must be a malfunction in our weapons. All systems show normal operation, sir, the tactical officer reported on the viewscreen, the human. Ship continued its steady approach. Captain Eugen's voice came over the communications channel once more. Captain Krex, he said in the same calm tone, you have made your choice. Now you will face the consequences. Suddenly, space itself began to shimmer around the small human vessel. What is that? Krex demanded. Unknown energy phenomenon, Captain, the sensor operator replied with growing alarm. Our instruments cannot identify the signature. The shimmering effect spread outward from the human ship like ripples on a pond. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist. The stars visible beyond began to distort as if seen through moving water. Sir Vex whispered in terror, something is very wrong here. The shimmer reached its peak intensity. Then, like a soap bubble, popping, it vanished completely. What it left behind made every pirate in the fleet freeze in absolute terror, the small cargo ship was gone. In its place floated something that should not have existed. Captain Eugene Kim stood on the bridge of what the galaxy believed to be a simple cargo vessel. His uniform was crisp and clean. His expression remained calm despite the chaos erupting around him. Behind him, his crew worked at stations that looked nothing like primitive human technology. Commander Yunji Choi sat at the tactical station, running her fingers over controls that seemed to be made of liquid light. The displays around her showed information in three-dimensional holographic arrays that shifted and moved like living things. All systems are ready, Captain, she reported in a steady voice. Holographic camouflage is holding at 97% efficiency. The pirates still believe we are a cargo hauler. Sensor dampening fields, Eugene asked. Active and stable. Their instruments cannot detect our true power signature. Eugene nodded slowly. For months, his ship had traveled through alien space disguised as something harmless and primitive. The galaxy's greatest civilizations had looked at them and seen exactly what they expected to see. A small, weak vessel from a backward species. Captain, called out Lieutenant Minho Park from the sensor station. The pirate fleet is moving into attack formation. Captain Krex is broadcasting threats on all frequencies. Let him talk, Eugene replied calmly. Words cannot hurt anyone. But his actions have consequences. On the main view screen, 200 pirate vessels spread across space like a plague of metal locusts. Each ship bristled with stolen weapons and illegal modifications. Their hulls were painted with symbols of death and destruction. These pirates had terrorized peaceful worlds. For decades, Sir Yunji announced. They are targeting our ship with plasma weapons. Shall I raise our real shields? Not yet. Let them fire first. I want them to understand their mistake before we respond. Brilliant beams of superheated plasma lanced out from the pirate flagship. The energy bolts struck their ship directly. Yujin watched calmly as his vessel's disguised hull absorbed the attacks without any visible effect. Their weapons are having no impact on our outer barrier field, reported the engineering officer. The plasma is being converted to harmless light and dispersed. They look confused, Captain, Minho observed with slight amusement. Their sensors cannot understand why their weapons are not working. More plasma fire struck their ship. The pirates were using progressively more powerful weapons. Soon they would escalate to antimatter torpedoes and exotic energy beams. Yujin had seen enough, Commander Choi, he said quietly. Begin deactivation sequence for all camouflage systems. Yes, sir. Initiating holographic shutdown in 10 seconds. Yujin walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, his crew prepared for battle with smooth efficiency. These were not cargo ship operators. These were the finest military officers humanity had ever produced. 5 seconds to full revelation, Yunji announced. All departments, prepare for combat operations, Yujin ordered. Remember, we are here to protect innocent people. Minimum necessary force only. 2 seconds. Yujin took a deep breath. The galaxy was about to learn the truth about human technology. Deactivation complete, Captain. Space around their vessel began to shimmer like heat waves rising from summer. Pavement, the effect spread outward in growing circles. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist as advanced. Holographic projectors shut down one by one. The illusion that had hidden their true nature flickered like a failing light bulb. The image of a small cargo ship wavered and distorted. Sections of fake hull plating became transparent. False engine nacelles faded away. Like morning mist, then the camouflage collapsed completely. Where a modest cargo hauler had been, something impossible now floated in the void. The vessel that revealed itself was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. The ship stretched nearly 5 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull gleamed with a metallic finish that seemed to absorb and redirect light itself. Strange geometric patterns covered every surface in designs that hurt the mind to look at directly. Weapon systems unlike anything in galactic databases emerged from hidden compartments. Energy collectors that looked like crystalline flowers opened along the ship's flanks. Sensor arrays that resembled metallic trees sprouted from dozens of locations. The vessel's engines glowed with power that registered beyond the limits of pirate scanning equipment. Energy readings spiked into ranges that their computers marked as impossible. The ship's mass signatures suggested materials that should not exist according to known physics. On the bridge of the Blood Reaper, Captain Krex stared at his tactical displays in absolute shock. His 4 eyes bulged from his scarred face. His mouth hung open, showing rows of sharp teeth. "What is that thing?" he whispered. His first officer, Vex, was frantically checking sensor readings. The reptilian creature's scales had turned pale green. With fear, Captain Vex stammered. "Our instruments cannot classify this vessel. Its energy output exceeds our entire fleet combined. Its weapon systems are beyond identification." "How big is it?" "Nearly 5 kilometers long, sir." Mass readings indicate incredibly dense construction materials. The hull appears to be composed of elements not found in any galactic database. Throughout the pirate fleet, similar scenes of shock and terror were playing out. Ship captains who had terrorized entire sectors now stared at something that made their most powerful vessels look like children's toys on Nexus Prime. The Galactic Council chamber had fallen completely silent. Every alien representative watched their displays in stunned amazement. The same beings who had laughed at human primitive technology now witnessed a warship that surpassed anything in their combined fleets. Impossible, whispered the Altarian. Ambassador, her blue skin had gone pale with shock. Our sensors must be malfunctioning. All our sensors are showing the same readings, replied the council speaker. His compound eyes reflected the impossible data scrolling across his screens. This vessel represents technology beyond our understanding, the Vector military advisor stood on shaking legs. His scales had turned black with terror. Their power. Generation systems alone exceed anything we possess, he said in a hollow voice. Our most advanced dreadnoughts would be helpless against such a vessel. In space near Kepler 442b, Captain Yu-Jin Kim's voice cut across all communication frequencies. With quiet authority. Captain Krex, he announced calmly, you now see what you are truly facing? This is your final opportunity to withdraw your fleet and leave the system peacefully. Krex found his voice with difficulty. When he spoke, his words came out as a croak. What? We are the protectors of innocent people, Yu-Jin replied. We are the consequences of your choices. The human captain's voice remained perfectly steady. No anger, no threats. Just calm certainty. You have 60 seconds to begin your withdrawal, Yu-Jin continued. Any ship that remains in this system? After that time will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. Krex looked at his tactical displays again. His fleet of 200 vessels suddenly seemed very small and very fragile. The human warship floating before them possessed more firepower than anything he had ever imagined. But Krex, the destroyer, had not earned his fearsome reputation by backing down from fights. All ships, he broadcasted to his fleet. Attack formation. Alpha, target the human vessel with everything we have. If we concentrate our fire, we can overwhelm even that monster. His captains responded with enthusiasm born of desperation. 200 ships moved into attack positions around the lone human warship. Every weapon they possessed trained on the enemy vessel. Sir, Vex said nervously. Perhaps we should consider retreat. That ship could destroy our entire fleet. Impossible, Krex snarled. No single vessel can stand against 200 warships. We have enough firepower to crack planets. Yu-Jin's voice came over the communications once more. Your 60 seconds are up, Captain Krex. You have chosen violence over wisdom. Now face the consequences of that choice. On the bridge of the human warship, Commander Yunji looked up from her tactical station. Captain, she said quietly. Oh. Enemy vessels are targeting our position. They appear committed to battle. Yu-Jin nodded sadly. He had hoped to resolve this without bloodshed. Very well, he said. All weapon systems prepare for defensive action. Target their engines and weapons. Only I want them disabled, not destroyed. Yes, sir. Weapons ready. Fire. The human warship moved through space with impossible grace for a vessel of its enormous size. Captain Yu-Jin Kim watched calmly as 200 pirate ships surrounded his position like angry wasps around a giant. Each enemy vessel bristled with weapons designed to destroy planets and crack moons. All enemy ships are in position, Captain, reported Lieutenant Minho Park from his sensor station. They are charging weapons to full power. Their targeting systems are locked onto our hull, added Commander Yunji Choi. Every ship in their fleet is preparing to fire simultaneously. Yu-Jin stood in the center of his bridge with his hands clasped behind his back. Around him, his crew worked with calm efficiency at stations that looked like works of art. The bridge itself seemed to pulse with gentle light that responded to their thoughts and movements. Captain Krex believes that overwhelming firepower can solve any problem, Yu-Jin said quietly. He's about to learn why that philosophy is flawed. On the pirate flagship Blood Reaper, Captain Krex raised his armored fist high above his head. All ships, he roared across the fleet communications. Fire everything you have. Burn this human monster out of space. 200 warships unleashed their fury at the same instant. Plasma cannons that could melt asteroids fired in perfect synchronization. Antimatter torpedoes that could shatter worlds streaked toward their target. Exotic energy weapons stolen from the galaxy's most advanced. Militaries discharged their deadly power. The space around the human warship became a storm of pure destruction. Energy levels spiked beyond anything ever recorded in galactic history. The combined firepower of Krex's entire armada focused on one target, with enough force to sterilize an entire solar system. The light was so brilliant that automated systems on nearby planets activated emergency filters to protect their populations from blindness. The energy release was so massive that sensors across 3-star systems detected the discharge and began emergency protocols. For 30 full seconds, the pirates poured everything they possessed into destroying the human vessel. When their weapons finally ran out of power and fell silent, space itself seemed to glow with residual energy. Smoke and debris filled the area where the human ship had been. Krex leaned forward in his command chair with a satisfied grin spreading across his scarred face. "Scan for wreckage," he ordered. "I want to confirm that nothing survived." His sensor operator worked frantically at his console, but instead of triumph, confusion appeared on the alien's face. "Sir," the operator said uncertainly, "I am not detecting any debris." "What do you mean, no debris?" Krex demanded. "Nothing could survive that level of firepower." "Captain," his first officer Vex called out with a trembling voice, "look at the main screen." The smoke and energy discharges were slowly clearing. As visibility improved, the truth became horrifyingly apparent. The human warship floated exactly where it had been before the attack. Its hull showed no damage whatsoever. Not a single scratch marked its gleaming surface. Not one weapon system appeared disabled. The vessel looked as if it had been sitting peacefully in empty space instead of enduring the most concentrated bombardment in galactic history. "Impossible," Krex whispered on the human bridge. Commander Yunji checked her status displays with "Professional comm, damage report," Yujin requested. "No damage to any system, Captain," she replied. "Defensive barriers absorbed 100% of incoming energy. Hull integrity remains at optimal levels. Power reserves 99.7%. The enemy attack actually provided a small amount of additional energy to our collectors." Yujin nodded. The pirates had just demonstrated the futility of attacking something they could not understand. "Open a channel to the pirate fleet," he ordered. "Channel open, sir." Yujin's voice carried clearly across space to every ship in Krex's armada. "Captain Krex," he said with quiet authority, "you have fired every weapon you possess. You have used your most powerful attacks. You have demonstrated the full extent of your capabilities." He paused to let that sink in. "Now it is my turn." Throughout the pirate fleet, crews who had been celebrating their imagined victory suddenly fell silent. The reality of their situation began to dawn on even the most stubborn fighters. "All weapon systems," Yujin commanded his crew. "Precision. Targeting only. Disable their engines and weapon systems. Minimize casualties." "Yes, sir," Yunji responded. "Weapons ready for selective engagement. You may fire when ready." The human warship responded with technology that rewrote everything the galaxy thought it knew about warfare. Instead of the crude plasma bolts and missile systems that dominated galactic combat, humanity had developed weapons that manipulated the fundamental forces of physics, coherent energy beams, that looked like solid bars of light reached out from the human vessel. But these were not simple lasers or plasma weapons. These beams passed through pirate shields as if they did not exist. They sliced through armor plating like warm knives through soft butter. Each beam struck with surgical precision. Engine systems failed instantly, but reactor cores remained intact. Weapon arrays went offline, but life support systems continued functioning. The human weapons seemed to know exactly which components to disable and which to leave alone. Gravitational torpedoes followed the energy beams. These weapons did not explode in the traditional sense. Instead, they created localized distortions in spacetime itself. Pirate ships found their hulls twisted into impossible shapes that disabled them completely without harming their crews. Quantum disruptors caused enemy shields to simply stop working. The energy barriers that had protected pirate vessels for years flickered and vanished like soap bubbles. Advanced point defense systems that could shoot down thousands of incoming missiles suddenly forgot how to target anything at all. The battle if it could be called that, lasted less than 3 minutes, when the human weapons fell silent. 200 pirate vessels floated helplessly in space. Not one ship retained the ability to move or fight. Yet casualty reports across the entire fleet totaled fewer than 50 injuries and 0 deaths. Captain Krex stared at his dead control panels in absolute shock. Every system on his flagship had been precisely disabled. His weapons were offline. His engines were dead, his shields were gone. But his crew was alive and his life support was working perfectly. "How is this possible?" he whispered. Eugen's voice came over the communication system one final time. "Captain Krex," he said calmly, "your fleet is now completely disabled. Your crews are unharmed, but your ships are no longer capable of threatening anyone." "This is impossible," Krex shouted into his communicator. "No technology in the galaxy can do this." "You are correct," Eugen replied. "No technology in the galaxy can do this. But humanity is not from the galaxy." Silence fell across the disabled pirate fleet as they tried to process this statement. "We developed our civilization in isolation," Eugen continued. "While you fought each other with plasma and antimatter, we learned to manipulate space and time. While you built bigger guns, we built better solutions." On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council watched the aftermath in stunned amazement. Their most advanced sensors had barely been able to track the human weapons. The technology displayed was beyond anything they had imagined possible. "The energy readings are off our scales," whispered the Altarian ambassador. "Their weapons seem to operate on principles we do not understand," added the Vector military advisor. "How long have they possessed such capabilities?" asked the Zephyrian representative. The council speaker's compound eyes reflected the tactical displays, showing 200 disabled pirate vessels. "The question is not how long they have had this technology," he said slowly. "The question is why they hid it from us." In space near Kepler 442b, Captain Eugen Kim was already answering that question. "We came to you seeking friendship, not conquest," he broadcasted to both the pirates and the council. "We hope to join a community of equals, not rule over subjects. But when innocent people face destruction, we cannot stand aside. We will not allow evil to triumph simply because we prefer peace." The massive human warship began moving toward the colony world. As it passed the disabled pirate vessels, Eugen's voice carried one final message. "Captain Krex, you and your crews will be taken into custody by Council security forces. Your reign of terror is over. And to the Council," he added, "we await your decision about our membership application. The galaxy would never be the same." The news traveled across the galaxy at the speed of quantum communication. Within hours, every civilized world knew what had happened in the Kepler system. Humanity, the species dismissed as primitive cargo haulers, had just displayed military technology that surpassed the combined capabilities of every known civilization on Nexus Prime. The Galactic Council chamber had transformed from a place of mockery into a temple of stunned silence. Representatives who had laughed at human fusion drives now studied sensor recordings that defied explanation. The same aliens who had dismissed human weapons now watched footage of pirate fleets disabled in minutes. The council speaker stood at the center of the chamber holding data tablets with shaking hands. His compound eyes darted between displays showing impossible energy readings and tactical analyses that made no sense. The human vessel generated power levels exceeding our theoretical maximums, he announced in a hollow voice. Their weapons operated on principles our scientists cannot identify. Their defensive systems absorbed the combined firepower of 200 warships without any measurable effect. Commander Jinwoo Park and Captain Sojin Lee stood quietly in their designated area. Both humans maintained calm expressions while chaos erupted around them. The same representatives who had patronized them hours earlier now looked at them with mixtures of fear, respect, and desperate curiosity. The Altarian ambassador raised her blue hand with obvious nervousness. "Commander Park," she said carefully, "how long has your species possessed such advanced technology?" "Approximately 300 years, Jinwoo replied honestly. "We achieved breakthrough developments shortly after making first contact with galactic civilization. 300 years, the Victor military advisor repeated in shock. You have had weapons capable of defeating entire fleets for 3 centuries. We have had the ability to defend ourselves. Yes, then why? Demanded the Zephyrian representative, her crystal body ringing with agitation. Why did you present yourselves? As primitive cargo haulers, why hide your true capabilities? Captain Sojin stepped forward to answer this question. Because we hope to join a community of friends, not rule over subjects, she said simply. We wanted to be part of something greater than ourselves. But you could have conquered the entire galaxy, protested a Nebula Dweller delegate. Your single warship defeated Krex's entire armada without taking damage. Conquest was never our goal, Jinwoo explained patiently. We came seeking knowledge, friendship, and the chance to contribute to galactic civilization. We disguised our capabilities because we feared that superior technology might create fear instead of friendship. You feared correctly, muttered the council speaker. New reports were arriving from across the galaxy every few minutes. Captain Eugene Kim's rescue of the Kepler 442b colonists had been flawlessly executed. All 15 million civilians were safe. The disabled pirate vessels had been secured by emergency response teams. Not a single innocent person had been harmed. But the implications of what had been revealed were staggering. If humans possess technology this advanced, asked the Altarian ambassador slowly, what other capabilities are you hiding? Our fastest ships can cross the galaxy in days rather than months, Sojin answered honestly. Our manufacturing systems can create any material or device we need. Our medical technology has eliminated death from aging and disease. The chamber fell silent again as representatives processed this information. You are essentially immortal, the council speaker said. We choose not to die from old age, yes, though we can still be killed by violence or accidents. And your population, stabilized at optimal levels for our worlds. We do not expand aggressively because we do not need to. Your energy systems, we can tap directly into the fundamental forces that power the universe itself. Each answer made the aliens more uncomfortable. They were dealing with a species so advanced that their own civilizations looked like primitive tribes by comparison. Then why, the Victor advisor asked desperately, why pretend to be weak? Why not simply announce your superiority and take your place as galactic rulers? Jinwoo and Sojin exchanged a look before Jinwoo answered. Because ruling people is not the same as leading them, he said gently. Because forcing others to follow you creates subjects, not friends. Because true strength comes from choosing to protect rather than dominate. As if to prove his point, new messages arrived from Captain Eugene Kim in the Kepler system. The human warship was providing advanced medical assistance to injured pirates from the disabled fleet. They were sharing food and supplies with anyone who needed them. They were even offering to repair non-military systems on the pirate vessels so crews could survive until rescue arrived. Your captain is helping his enemies, observed the Zephyrian representative with amazement. They are not our enemies, Sojin corrected. They were people making bad choices. Now they have the opportunity to make better ones. More reports continued. Streaming in from across the galaxy, other human vessels were revealing themselves in star systems throughout known space. Not warships, but research vessels, medical ships, and engineering platforms that had been disguised as simple cargo haulers and passenger transports for months. Advanced human technology had been quietly helping with disasters, conducting scientific research, and providing aid to struggling colonies. The galaxy had been surrounded by helpful neighbors without even knowing it. How many ships do you have operating in our territory? Asked the council speaker. Approximately 15,000 vessels of various types, Jinwoo replied. All engaged in peaceful activities. 15,000, the Altarian ambassador whispered, and we never detected them. You saw exactly what you expected to see, Sojin explained. Simple cargo ships operated by a primitive species. Your own assumptions provided our camouflage. The chamber erupted in dozens of conversations as representatives struggled to understand this new reality. Some aliens were excited by the possibilities of advanced human technology. Others were terrified by the implications of being so thoroughly outclassed. The council speaker called for order by activating harmonic resonators throughout the chamber. The Galactic Council must now reconsider humanity's application for membership, he announced formally. There is no need for reconsideration, Jinwu replied calmly. We withdraw our application. Shocked gasps echoed through the chamber. Withdraw, the speaker repeated. But why? Because membership implies equality among peers, so Jin explained. It would not be fair to other species to pretend we are equals when our capabilities are so far advanced. Then what do you propose? Asked the Vector advisor. Partnership, Jinwu said. We offer to share our knowledge and abilities with any civilization that wishes to grow and learn. We will provide protection for those who need it. We will assist with scientific research, medical advances, and technological development. In exchange for what? Nothing, Sojin replied. We do this because it is right, not because we expect payment. The implications sank in slowly. Humanity was offering to become the galaxy's protector and teacher without asking for anything in return. No tribute, no territory, no submission. Just the satisfaction of helping others reach their potential. The colony at Kepler 442b, the Altarian ambassador said thoughtfully. Those people have lived through something that will change them forever. How so? Jinwu asked. They know that someone was willing to risk everything to save them. They know that when evil threatened their families, good people stepped forward to protect them. They will never forget that lesson. Neither will the rest of the galaxy, added the council speaker. Today we learn that strength and wisdom can coexist. That the most powerful beings in known space chose to use that power for protection rather than conquest. The pirates who attacked the